Good evening and welcome to episode number 22 of the Roar Rundown Sports Podcast. I'm Chris Gay and this is Jeremiah Turner, just the two of us tonight, but we'll go ahead and dive right into some Ouachita sports. So over the past week, on Tuesday, Ouachita softball, they played in a non-conference bout against Mississippi College. Wasn't exactly the most... It wasn't the best doubleheader. It was in Clinton, Mississippi, and OBU lost 0-11 in the first game, and then 4-20 in the second game. Just briefly, Aaron Williams had a run and a couple hits. Emily Reed had a run and a hit. So did Kennedy Wilkie, also added an RBI. Jordan Merritt had 2 RBIs. And Remington Adams had 2 hits and 1 RBI. They'll have a little bit more success later in the week, and we'll get into that momentarily. Now, Ouachita baseball, they beat Henderson State on Wednesday here at home. So got the Battle of the Ravine victory in kind of an odd, just a single header game, just right there, smack dab in the middle of the week. But looking at some of the stats, Michael Quinones had one of the best games of his career catching for Ouachita. I mean, it wasn't necessarily fielding that he had his best game. It was batting. He had 1 run, 3 hits, and 2 RBIs in that game. Wesley Scott had a run, 2 hits, and 1 RBI. Talon Heine had 1 run and 1 hit. G. Allen had a run and 2 hits. And Dustin Bermudez had a run, a hit, and was walked. So one of the most interesting games that went on this week was on Thursday, and it was Ouachita women's basketball. Ouachita was playing as the 7th seed in the first round of the GAC tournament, and we were up against Harding in the first round, number 2. We were already coming in as the underdogs, and they just showed why they won. Just looking at Jeremiah, just looking at the stats, we just did not shoot well, really, from anywhere.
I guess we were coming off a little season-ending high going into the tournament, but everything just went flat once we got there. We shot 31.6% from the floor and 16.7% from three-point. Yeah, that just won't get it done, and only 56.7% from the free throw line. So just a bad shooting night overall. We managed to score 22 points in the paint and 7 points off a turnover, and also 7 more additional points off second chance points. We actually out-rebounded Harding on the night, 43-39, but we still gave up 41% of shooting from the floor for Harding to our 31, and allowed 47.6% from the three-point range to our 16. So, and they also scored more points in the paint than us and got more points off the turnovers. So we just didn't have a very good showing on that night. But Madeline Tipton still came in with 23 points and 5 rebounds, shooting 7 of 15 from the floor and 3 of 7 from the three-point range. And Grayson Fairless had 13 points and 11 rebounds, a double-double, solid game, another classic Grayson game. And Laney Mears only came in with 6 points and 8 rebounds on the night and shot 0 of 8 from three-point, which is one of our better three-point shooters.
Yeah, well, they were missing her, and shooting 16% as a team from beyond the arc, not going to get it done. But, hey, you do have to look, if you're Coach Dallimore, you do have to look at the rebounding numbers. Yeah. It wasn't a large difference in rebounds. We only out-rebounded Harding by 4. But this is a team that has Sage Hawley, 6'4", one of the leading rebounders in the conference. Mm-hmm. Rory Gear is one of the best offensive rebounders in the conference, but because we kind of, I don't even want to say we shut them out on the boards. I mean, we kind of did. For a Harding team that's not used to getting out,
dominated on the boards, even got a couple second chance points, but we just weren't making our initial shots from the get-go, man. If we could have drained a couple more shots. Score originally wasn't that bad. It was actually a pretty close game just until close to the end of the game when they started to pull away from us. It was a pretty tight-knit game all the way through the first 3 quarters. But if we could have hit a couple more shots going into the fourth, I think we could have actually either made a better run at the end or maybe even pulled off an upset.
Yep, tired legs, I'm sure, towards the end as well. But Harding, they wouldn't make it too much farther in the tournament. And actually, who won the tournament was Henderson State. Was not Southern Nazarene at 1. Was not Harding at 2. And was not, I think Northwest was at 3, and they didn't win either. So it was, I think, Henderson State was at 4, and they got the GAC victory. And I'm pretty sure it's their first Great American Conference championship victory in their entire program history for women's basketball. I think the men have done it in the past, or at least it's the first time in a while. I'd have to fact check myself, but still, hey, I mean, we don't like the Reddies, but still, good for them.
We don't like the Reddies, but I guess one team in Arkadelphia brought it home, so we will take that.
Yeah, well, now the NCAA Tournament for Division II women's, I think for the most part, has been totally decided. So Southern Nazarene, who only had 2 losses all year, one of them came in the tournament. They're still a number 1 seed in the NCAA Tournament. Their first-round matchup, and because Henderson State, they win the conference, so they get an automatic bid. Same thing works like in Division I, how we're all going to be keeping up for March Madness. Right. Unfortunately, they are going to be playing the team they beat in the championship, Southern Nazarene, in the first round. It is a 1 versus 8 matchup. There's not as many teams in the Division II bracket as there are in Division I. So, yeah, it's going to be hard to beat one of the best teams in the country twice in a row. We were talking about it right before recording, and yeah, so
Coach Thomas over at Henderson, I guess she made some great adjustments in coming into that game in the championship after playing them in the regular season. But she either better, I think she's gonna have to make a couple more. She had a couple players that had some season highs that game, so I don't know if it was a fluke game or if they actually came out and did what they need to do. But I hope they do this time around if they want to win again. It's going to be tough the second time around for sure. SNU's not looking to lose twice to the same team.
No, they're not. They're a very deadly team, and they're probably out for some revenge too. We were talking about it. Jada Pickens, who beat up on Ouachita both times this season. She set a new career high of 35 points.
A new career high of 35 points.
Yeah.
She's been setting career highs all season. She scored a career high against us here at home with 27.
Is this her last year? I know she's a senior, but
she's got at least 2 more years to play, if I'm not mistaken. She had a medical red shirt, and I think she red shirt, regular red shirt.
COVID year.
Yeah, COVID year for her first year, so she's got a couple more years to play.
It's kind of crazy when your best year is your senior year. She is technically a senior, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
I think she's only averaged like 2 points for her career or something. It was really, really low, and then it's just blown up this year. But good for her. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so they'll have to play SNU in the first round of the tournament. So we'll see how that goes. Now, of course, Ouachita men's basketball, they didn't make the conference tournament, but Arkansas Tech would win out the conference tournament. And honestly, I thought they were the best team. Southeastern, I think, still had the first seed in the conference tournament. But to me, when Arkansas Tech came and played at home, they looked great. There were just too many guys on that team that could kill any other guy on any other team. So so they went ahead and won out the conference. And I think because their record wasn't as favorable as some of the other men's teams, and compared to a 2-loss Southern As women's team, they think they could only get like the 8th seed. It was kind of a lower seed, even though they won out the conference. I don't know who they play in the first round, but I think they are the only team for the men's conference to make it into the tournament, even getting over Southeastern Oklahoma State, which is crazy considering they did have the top seed in the conference for a bit. And then going back to the women, Harding is also going to be in the NCAA tournament. I think they have a decent seed as well, because I think they only had 4 or 5 losses on the year. So obviously they're going to make it. So hopefully we have a GAC team. SNU, hopefully they win out the tournament. Would love to see the national championship come down to the Great American Conference. That would be pretty awesome. I mean, that happened in football. I know, it's Harding. We don't like Harding.
We don't like the Bisons.
But Great American Conference still got a championship, which I don't know when the last time that happened.
I think that might be the first national championship that was won in the Great American Conference.
I mean, you got to give them props for that. And it's great publicity for the conference overall. But so we'll see how it is March. March doesn't consist of just Division I craziness. It trickles down to every level. So we'll see how this month goes. Now, getting back into some of the action. So women's tennis, they've played pretty much all throughout the week. And on Saturday, they lost 2-4 to Northeastern State at home after a couple wins trying to get back on track, but kind of fell behind here. They lost all three of their doubles matches, and Calderova and Ruxandra Telescu, they were the lone Tigers that were able to get wins in singles. So not exactly what they would have hoped. And then again on Saturday and Sunday, it was a busy weekend. Baseball, OBU baseball lost their series to Arkansas Tech 1-2. They lost both games. Actually, one game on Saturday, which was scoreless, 0-2 loss, and then Sunday they lost 0-3. But Sunday they finally got on the board with a run, and they won 5-4 in Russellville. So Jeremiah, just looking at those stats, Quinones, he had that great game in their win against Henderson, but Dustin Bermudez had one of the games of the season.
Man. Hitting 2 home runs, having 3 runs, 2 hits, and 2 RBIs, that is definitely a great game. I mean, I know I couldn't have pulled anything like that off. But, yeah, he had a great showing. And Wesley Scott also had a run, a hit, and an RBI, and a walk, along with Reese McWilliams having 1 run, and G. Allen having a hit, an RBI, and 1 stolen base. So it was a great performance on Sunday, great win for our guys down in Russellville. Unfortunately, they couldn't get the series, but they had a great showing at the end of it. So going into their next series, I think they ought to be just fine. Yeah.
Well, you said you couldn't put up numbers like that. I probably could. Maybe pitching machine or T-ball, but not live pitch. But
right.
Yeah. Now softball, they lost their series to Arkansas Tech again. Not the Wonder Girls. There's no Wonder Girls for Arkansas Tech. It is the Golden Suns, and they're. A reason why they're not, the guys are Wonder Boys, and then they're not Wonder Girl because I think DC Comics has the hold on the Wonder Girl name.
Wow.
So they could not have that name because it's trademarked or copyrighted or whatever. So they're the Golden Suns, which honestly is not that bad of a name. I don't mind it.
It's all right.
I mean, a sun is golden.
Right.
So it's kind of.
I like the Wonder Girls, but I guess copyright.
Yeah. Nothing beats playing on classic Tiger. That's for sure.
Oh, definitely. Nothing beats the Tiger.
But on Saturday, it was a doubleheader on Saturday here at home, and I was on the call for that game. The first game, which started at 2, did not end until 5:30. Games don't usually last 2.5 hours in softball. I mean, it's only 7-inning games. This game went into extra innings, went all the way to 10 innings. That was a long game. And, it was a great game, though, because we were tied. Well, no, we were losing by 1, 4-3 or 3-4 in the 7th inning, and we were down. It was like 2 outs, almost maybe a full count or close to it. And Lauren Lester, former North Little Rock Charging Wildcat, I'm an alum of, she went up to the plate, had kind of been struggling all game. Actually hadn't really done anything all game, but was, as a trusted veteran, she came in and there was one runner on second or third, and I think she was on third. So Lester came in and had the game-tying RBI single. So I think it was Avi Reams that came in and scored the game-tying run. So it went into extra innings at 4 apiece. And now Ouachita would not be able to hang on. They would lose 5-8. Overall, their pitching was great, but it just still wasn't enough. And they still allowed 8 runs on the day, so just some late collapses every once in a while. But just looking at the stats, Jordan Merritt, the freshman, had a great game, 3 hits, 2 RBIs. Aaron Williams had a run, 2 hits, and an RBI. Bailey King had a run, a hit, and a walk. Emma Scales had a run and an RBI. Caitlin Province had a run, a walk, and a stolen base. Now, the second game on Saturday, which was later that night, they lost 0-4. I think all the batters were just tired. I mean, they had just been playing 10 innings just 30 minutes before. I think their legs were just done. So, but they would get the win on Sunday, a 2-0 win on Sunday, as Arkansas Tech had to go back home. And Bailey King had a run, 2 hits. Olivia C. had a run and a hit. Aaron Williams had a hit and an RBI. Remington Adams had a hit and 1 RBI, and Tuesday Melton would be credited for her second win of the season. Right. Now, OBU men's tennis. So women's tennis not having particularly a great season. The men, however, they came into this weekend ranked number 11 in the country, and they're probably going to be even higher as they beat a number 28 team that was Northwest Missouri State. They beat them 6-1 at home on Sunday. Absolutely dominant. First of all, how many sports rank all the way to like 28? Most, cap out at 25. Yeah. That's kind of interesting. But, so the duos of Exner and Blanchard, and then Lager and Osmond, they would earn victories in doubles. And then Blanchard, Exner, Strassman, Lager, and Buss would all win in singles. And then again, women's tennis, not particularly the best weekend at home. They would lose 2-4 against number 25 Northwestern Missouri State. The duos of Crocker and Zamora Capriolo, they won the lone doubles match. And then Calderova, Crocker, and Gaston earn the only wins in singles for Ouachita. So we're going to go ahead and head into the Tiger Prowl preview. So coming up this week, actually, and by the time that this episode is out, some of these events have already happened, but men's and women's swim and diving NCAA championships will be starting Tuesday, going from Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all the way until Saturday. And we're going to have a lot of different swimmers from both the men's and women's that are going to be participating in the championships that are held in Geneva, Ohio. And then also on Tuesday, actually a lot of stuff going on. Men's tennis will be in Fort Smith, Arkansas, playing at a neutral site versus Newman University. And then baseball will be playing in Magnolia for a lone single header there on Tuesday. But softball, they will have their Battle of the Ravine on Tuesday. They'll be hosting it, of course, so I'll be on the call for that game. Should be great. And that game starts at 4. The next game will start at 6. But, of course, by the time this comes out, a lot of these events have already happened, so you can always catch the recaps on our I would say next week's show. We have spring break this coming up week. So, and before I continue with this, since you're football and y'all are doing spring camp, do y'all really get a spring break?
We do.
Okay.
So spring's not as demanding as a fall.
Right.
We're going to have practice tomorrow and practice Thursday, and we typically would practice Saturday like we did this past week, but they're going to let us out. We're going to meet Friday morning, early Friday morning, and then they're going to let us get out of here, which is a blessing.
That's great.
I am ready to go. I'm not going to lie. If they were to schedule practice, I might have had to miss because my birthday is next Monday.
Oh, okay.
So I am leaving this place called Arkadelphia. But it's a lovely place, just not for spring break.
I understand. Yep. And I'm glad I live in North Little Rock and not here. Sometimes, I'm no disrespect to the community of Arkadelphia. it is honestly, since being here, it's given I've had more of an appreciation of small towns. The problem with small towns is that there's not a whole lot to do.
There you go.
You can go to Walmart.
Walmart's a trip.
Or you could go to Lake DeGray. The interesting thing is most of the fun things to do around Arkadelphia are not in the city itself.
Right.
So that's like a double-edged sword there. I mean, it's like, we have a lot of great tourist attractions. They're not here, though. They're, 30 minutes away. But, yeah. Anyway, on Wednesday, women's tennis will be hosting Nebraska Kearney, and that will be at 10 a.m. And then men's tennis will be hosting Nebraska Kearney at 2 p.m. Baseball will be having a non-conference matchup here at home against Texas A&M Texarkana, so they're not really having to go very A&M Texarkana is not coming from that far away. It's probably about, an hour and a half drive?
An hour and a half.
Yeah, probably so. And then on Friday, women's track and field and men's track and field will be at the Rhodes College Invitational in Memphis. And times are to be decided as of now. And then we will have more baseball and softball action starting on Saturday. Softball will have a doubleheader in Ada, Oklahoma. They'll be playing at 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. and then again on Sunday at noon. And then baseball will also be playing the Tigers of East Central. They're going to be hosting them this time starting at 3 p.m. on Saturday, and then their last two games are going to be at noon and 3 p.m. on Sunday. Would love for them to get back on track. They've been a little inconsistent for the most part. And then women's tennis, they will be having their battle of the ravine as they will be hosting the Reddies of Henderson State. So would love a win there. I don't know how good they are at tennis, but we'll see. It's always competitive no matter what the sport is.
That's true.
And then on Saturday, and I think it's just on Saturday, we will have wrestling at the NCAA Nationals in Park City, Kansas, and we have one performer that I believe will be there, and that's Jimmy Anderson. So that should be great. Would love to see how he does at Nationals. Again, on Saturday, men's tennis will be at Delta State in Cleveland, Mississippi at 10 a.m. And then women's tennis will be will be at St. Mary's, which is also at UT Dallas. I think that's a neutral site game. And that will be at 2 p.m. And then on Sunday, men's tennis will be in Livingston, Alabama, playing West Alabama. So that's going to do it for the Tiger Prowl preview. But yeah, so next week is going to be spring break for all of us Ouachita students. And you have any plans for spring break? I know you're probably going home, but
yeah, for the first part, I'm going home back to Texas just to chill out for a bit, see mom's family. But second part of my spring break, I've been blessed with the opportunity to go out to Memphis.
That is right. So I'm also going to be on that trip. We are going to Memphis on Thursday, coming back Sunday. And that's going to be part of a special treat that we're getting from Chris Babb, the OSDN director. He's got, I don't know how the heck he got hooked up with this. We're going to be student workers at the first two rounds of the NCAA Tournament in Memphis. So, yeah, love March Madness. We don't know who's playing yet. Selection Sunday is not until this Sunday, maybe?
I think it's this coming Sunday.
Yeah, so it'll be really interesting. I'm really hoping that Arkansas State, I know you're not from Arkansas, but Arkansas State is playing James Madison right now in the Sun Belt Championship.
All right.
And U of A, Arkansas, is not going to make the tournament. I mean, we're in the SEC tournament, but we've had such a bad year. We're not making the tournament. Arkansas Little Rock was right there, but they lost in their conference championship, and Arkansas Pine Bluff also, and UCA, not good enough to make it there either. So really hoping that Arkansas State can make it to the tournament for the first time in, I don't know, probably 20 years is my guess. But, I would love to see at least one Arkansas team in the NCAA tournament. At least we get to see some Arkansas teams in the Division II NCAA tournaments. There you go.
It's a start.
All right. For college, I know you're from Texas. What part of Texas?
I'm from East Texas, so closer. I would say I'm like an hour and a half from Texarkana.
So do you have like are you let me take a guess. Are you an A&M fan?
Well, really, when it gets to basketball, I just love it. I just watch everybody.
Okay.
But I suppose if I had to pick a team, I like UT.
Okay.
But, we haven't been as strong as we have been. But it's okay. There are plenty of other good Texas teams that will make an appearance this year, I hope.
Houston. That's for sure.
Houston's got a great opportunity.
I think they're number one in the country. I think they overtook UConn for that spot. So
Houston is doing great.
Yeah.
They have a great opportunity this year. I really hope they go far. I know they're going, but I hope they go far and make a good run.
I think their defense is good enough to where they could rival. I still think UConn has a chance, but I feel like they're better than they were last year, and they won the championship. So I don't know. We'll see. So, so that's where we'll be on spring break. I'll be heading to Fayetteville, Arkansas, to see some family this coming Saturday and Sunday. So that will be my big getaway. But outside of that, it's going to be also chilling at home and I guess getting ready for the Memphis trip. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun for sure.
Well, that's going to do it for us, and this has been the 22nd. It's hard to believe it's been the 22nd episode of the Roar Rundown Sports Podcast. I'm Chris. This is Jeremiah. Have a good evening. Be safe out there, and go Tigers.
Go Tigers.